today we will study the chapter 9 of your Moment's book, that is the Accidental Tourist. So here is a little introduction of this. This is a humorous story where the writer talks of the incidences where he acts clumsy. He tries to behave in a sophisticated manner, but is unable to do so and ends up spilling drinks, smearing his face with ink and creating a mess on the dining table. So here this is a little introduction. Now we will study the chapter para-wise and I will be explaining you the chapter. First para. Of all the things I am not very good at, living in the real world is perhaps the most outstanding. I am constantly filled with wonder at the number of things that other people do without any evident difficulty that are pretty much beyond me. I cannot tell you the number of times that I have gone looking for the laboratory in a cinema. Here laboratory means the washroom, for instance, and ended up standing in an alley on the wrong side of a self-locking door. My particular specialty now is return to hotel desk 2 or 3 times a day and asking what my room number is. I am in short easily confused. So here the author says that he is not good at doing many works at one time. What the other people can do very easily, he finds the same thing to do it very difficult. He is amazed at the people who do multitasking. Multitasking means many tasks at one time without facing any difficulty. He says, I am very surprised to see the people who can do multitasking, many work at one time. For me, doing a simple job is also a very great job. Many times he can get confused when he searches for the toilet in a cinema. See, these are the very common things when you go for a washroom or you go in any public places. To search the washroom is a very common thing and you can find out very easily. But he says that he finds very difficult to find the toilet in a cinema and ends up in a lane from where he cannot enter the hall. So when he comes from the wrong side, so it's too difficult for him to enter the hall. In the same way, when he checks in a hotel, whenever he goes in any hotel and he forgets his room number and he goes to the reception many times just to confirm it. So he is saying, for me, going out of the house is a very difficult task. For me, doing a simple job is also very great work. So I was thinking about this last time when we went in family on a big trip, and family means the whole family. Actually, this is a French word. So he is sharing one of his incidents when he was going on a big trip with his whole family, and it was Easter. Easter is a Christian holiday, and in the holidays he was going out. In European countries, generally on Easter or Christmas they got the big holidays. So they planned a trip to go outside. So he was saying that it was a Easter and we were flying to England for a week. When we arrived at Logan Airport in Boston and were checking in it, I suddenly remembered that I had recently joined British Airways frequent flyer program. I also remembered that I had put the card in the carry-on bag that was hanging around my neck, and here where the trouble started. So now he is saying the last time when we went on a family trip to England to Easter time, they reached the Logan Airport in Boston. And as recently has joined one of the program of the British Airways, that is a frequent flyer program, and from there he has got the card. And if he will show this card on there, punch to whale, then he will get the points. So, and where was the card? The card was in the bag. So, and that bag was hanging around his neck. So now, as he had to take out the card, now from here only the problem started. And what was the problem? First, he has to open the zip, and that zip was very tight. So he couldn't open the zip. The bag zip would not open, and he pulled it with full force. And when you do something with the full force, when you open some bag or do something, what happened? The things automatically come out of the bag. So same thing happened with the author. Suddenly the bag opened with a jerk, and as he had used a lot of forces, all the articles flew out of the bag and were strewn across the floor. And all the articles, his books, his papers, important documents, everything was scattered on the floor. They were thrown over a large area as big as the size of a tennis court. Here the author is saying that they have thrown as in the large tennis floor is there, and all his things are scattered. Now I was dumbstick as 100 carefully stored documents came running down in a fluttery cascade. Coins bounced to a variety of noisy aviation and the new lidless tin of a tobacco rolled crazily across the concourse, disgorging its content as it went. And he was shocked to see all his important documents fly out of the bag. The coins rolled on the floor, the lid of the tobacco vase came off, and the box rolled on the floor, and the tobacco spilled on the floor. And seeing this stand, he was very much confused. My tobacco, I cried in horror, thinking what I would have to pay for that much tobacco in England now that another budget had come and gone, and then changed the cry to my finger, as I discovered that I had gashed my finger on the jib and was shedding blood in a lavish manner. I am not very good around flowing blood generally, but when it's my own, well, I think hysterics are fully justified. Confused and unable to help, my hair went into panic mode. So now your author is saying, this tobacco was very expensive article, he screamed that his tobacco was getting ruined. And the very next moment, instead of shouting for the tobacco, he started shouting for his finger. He saw that he had a cut on his finger and it was bleeding. So he screamed. His scream changed from my tobacco to my finger. He again got confused and he was in a panic mode. It was at this point that my wife looked at me with an expression of wonder, not anger or X expression. X expressions means hatred, but just simple wonder, and said, I can't believe you do this thing for a living. So his wife looked at him, wondering at his extraordinary behavior, his strange behavior. She said that his varied behavior was unbelievable. Now, next come on. But I'm afraid I always have catastrophes. Catastrophes means tragedy or disaster when I travel. Once on an aeroplane, I leaned over to tie a shoelaces. This is a very common thing. Generally, whenever we need to tie the shoelaces, we lean down. So just now what happened with the author? Just at the moment, someone in the seat ahead of me threw his seat back, and what happened? The person who was sitting in front of him, he pulled his seat back to lie in a comfortable manner, and his head was dumped inside that below that seat. So just at the moment, someone in the seat ahead of me threw his seat back into full decline and found myself pinned helplessly in the crash position. It was only by clawing the leg of the man sitting next to me that I managed to get myself free. So here the author says the author always commits disasters while traveling. Once on a flight, he leaned forward to tie his shoelaces. When the person on the seat ahead of him put it in full decline, thus banging the author's head while the back of his seat, he had to hold the leg of the passenger sitting next to him to come out of the face. So this is the few incidents here the author has shared. Next we will complete the tomorrow.